ready with me for a dark, dreary day. This is the 9th of December in Manchester, and it's pretty fucking bleak. So, another reason why I wanted to come on, not just to do a get ready with me randomly, but I've got loads of new little bits from Vinted. So, I've got like some discontinued old Mac products, I've got some limited edition, I've got new Mac brushes, which is really exciting because I don't think I've had a new Mac brush in about 16 years, so it's been a while. It's been a while. God, I can't stop singing that every time I think about that phrase. So, bonus points if you know that. I'm going to start off with another classic. I'm just going to prime my eyes and let that set for a bit. So, I'm using the Urban Decay Primer Potion. This isn't going well already. It's a classic live video. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit of that on my eyelids. Now, that doesn't give you any coverage whatsoever. So, I'm going to leave that on for a few seconds. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. And this is another absolute staple. I think they did reformulate it at some point because it's now a Pro Longwear paint pot. I think they used to just be called paint pots. And this basically does a great job of neutralizing all of the blue and the purple tones that are on my eyelids. Because my skin is very fair, it's kind of translucent in some places where the skin is really thin, such as my eyelids. So this kind of gives a bit of coverage there. Not kind of like a concealer, more like giving you a blank canvas to start with. I think they actually used to have a color called Bare Canvas in their matte paints. So again, I think that's a pretty good description. Again, painterly. It's kind of like your undercoat before your eyeshadow. And you can now see that's completely neutralized my eyelid. My eyelid no longer looks kind of bluey purple. You can slap a little bit on in the corners. If you're feeling fancy, sometimes I put a little bit on as a base for any eyeshadow I put under my eyes. But not too low because I know I'm going to be putting other products, concealers, etc. there. My face is looking extra high shine because I have used the Sunday Riley CEO Glow Vitamin C Turmeric Face Oil. I did have another oil that I was using, but I just kept forgetting to use it. And I think because this is kind of brightly colored, it stands out, and then I remember to wear it. And I also just put on some of the Drunk Elephant moisturizer. It's grand. It's nothing special. I think I said that in my last video. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to test out two new brushes. I'll show you all the brushes I got. The first brush here is the MAC 266 and the other one is the MAC 263. Now, essentially, these are almost the same brush. It's just the MAC 266 is slightly larger and slightly denser, I would say, than the 263. Now, I believe these were originally designed to be eyebrow brushes. And that's how I've always used them. But you could probably use them to carve out your eyebrows and do things like that, or a little bits of winged liner, maybe with an eyeshadow. So the traditional way that I always used to see people using this brush, and I always wanted it, but I didn't have enough money, was basically just taking a eyeshadow, like a MAC eyeshadow, like we have here. This is my giant palette that contains all my MAC eyeshadows. And essentially all they did was just put a little bit of product on their brush and then fill in their brows in the sparse areas. Now, I might need a little bit more help than that. And this is certainly not the fashionable way to do your eyebrows now. Everybody's about all these glues and, you know, random fluffing products, lamination, whatever. But this is a really like solid way to do your brows. And it's kind of a makeup artist way. So I'm just having a look at the shades here, and I'm obviously going to pick something very cool toned. I think I'm going to start with, I think I have a single of Omega somewhere. I actually can't see it now in the palette, but I do have like a depotted version, but I'm going to use the single of Omega if I could find it. I've bought a lot of single eyeshadows recently, and I will like feature those in this haul as well. I'm just like taking them all out here. God, I've got a lot now. So I keep seeing these like amazing bundles of MAC eyeshadows for sale on Vinted, like people that are just clearing out their makeup wardrobes essentially. And I've got some absolutely fucking stellar deals. Like the other day I got 8 eyeshadows for £8. Like you can't get better than that. I might have been telling you a lie. I can't see Omega in there. Okay, well, we'll just pick something else. So in terms of going for kind of a neutral or a gray shade, I'm going to go into this one, which I think might be Concrete. We'll see. So basically, you're just trying to pick something around the same color as your eyebrows or slightly lighter. Go lighter rather than darker if you can't get a perfect match. I prefer my eyebrows to look ashy. My hair is quite ashy naturally, especially now that it's growing out. So like from about here down is dye, and then the top part is my own color. It is slightly damp because I've just had a bath. But yeah, so I prefer to go for an ashy look. I think warm eyebrows look a bit strange. Hi Kim, nice to see you. Okay, so I'm just filling these in and I'm starting with the back end of the brow just till I get used to using this little brush because it is my first time using it. It seems to be pretty easy to use. Yes, Kim, I've answered you. Hello. Okay, so I'm just filling in my eyebrows here now and I'm waiting until I have less product on the brush before I kind of flick it towards the front. And that's kind of giving a more natural look because your brows are naturally a little bit darker and a little bit thicker towards the back, or at least mine are. And you want to keep the front looking fairly natural. You don't want to end up with any kind of scouse brows or anything blocky looking. No offense to any scouse people on here. So I think that's working quite well actually. That's fine, don't worry. Uh, So I think that looks fairly natural. I think the color was a better match than I was thinking it was going to be. I might return to the brows later, but I'm just going to leave them there for now. Okay, so I'm going to leave that now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the other MAC brushes that I got. So this next one, I'm not actually sure what I'm going to use this for, but this is the MAC 191 brush. And it's essentially like, I guess, kind of like a very traditional but square foundation brush. So that was part of the set that I got. These were all brand new, by the way. Then the next one I got was an absolute MAC classic. Do you remember these foundation brushes? This is the MAC 190. All right. So the 190 brush, again, it's like that flat traditional foundation brush, but it has a tapered end. All right. So I've got that one. And then the next one here is the MAC 109 brush. This had a coveted status for pretty much everything. Originally, I remember it being everybody's favorite blush brush. And then there was this weird trend where everyone decided to use it for foundation. So that is the MAC 109. It's actually a really small brush. I was expecting it to be much larger. So that one's a really good one as well. So altogether I got those 5 brushes and I think I paid like 12 quid or something ridiculous. Again, I think people just getting rid of old stock. And these products aren't really as in demand as they used to be. So it's just the way it is. I'm just going to remove anyone that's being a pain in the ass. Don't really need to hear about anybody's biceps. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do then to try out one of these new foundation brushes is I'm just going to take the Max Factor Miracle Pure Skin Reset 2-in-1 Serum Foundation. Why does everything have such a long name now? Okay, so I'm just going to shake that up because I haven't actually used this about 2 months, I'd say. I remember I tried it out for a video and I thought it was nice, but it wasn't really anything like crazy special. It's kind of looking like the Maybelline one. So like if I show you the bottle, I know the Maybelline one is like incredibly popular. The packaging is incredibly similar. So just something to note, you could easily get them mixed up. I don't know why all these companies are going for droppers now. So I'm going to take some of that and just put it on the back of my hand. I actually can't remember how much coverage this gives, so I'll just put plenty on there and we can always go back for more. I'm going to try the MAC 190 because I think the tapered brush is going to be easier to kind of control. God, I haven't used a foundation brush like this in forever. So, oh, I forgot to say what shade this is. It is the lightest shade, 00 to 10, very fair. Again, because it's meant to be like sort of a skin tint serum, it's supposed to be shade adapting, which I don't really believe. I never really find that they adapt at all or that they will do a range of different skin tones. I think you just have to kind of get lucky and get your shade. So far the coverage is really sheer and like although it's a long time since I've used any of these foundation brushes, I do remember they used to give pretty good coverage. So this is a proper skin tint. This is not going to give you a lot of coverage or conceal anything. You're gonna have to use a separate concealer. It also smells quite kind of almost, what's the word? Like there's a strong scent. The word will come back to me later, but it does have a strong scent. So if you don't like scent in your products, you will not like this Max Factor product, okay? Do I think it's one of the best skin tints on the market? No. Did I get it on an offer when I was doing my Sainsbury's shopping? Yes. So yeah, this is fine. I would probably use it a little bit more in kind of cold weather, like weather like now, because it is giving me a serious glow. So if you want glow, it gives a really good glow. So that kind of luminosity, especially if you have dry skin like I do, like it's really shining now. But yeah, used up what was on my hand. I wouldn't layer it any more than this because I don't want to look too glowy, and also I don't think it's intended to give a lot of coverage, but it certainly made me look a lot more alive. Okay, so I've already prepped my eyes with Urban Decay Primer Potion and MAC Painterly Paint Pot. So just to kind of continue down the skin theme, the next thing I'm going to do is add some concealer under my eyes. I have no idea what I'm doing yet for eyeshadow. I've got a load of new eyeshadows to try, so I'll just show you what I have, and if you have any opinions on what you want to see me use, you can throw them in there. For some reason, one of the bundles I got contains a lot of purples. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not feeling purple today, but I have lots of other things to choose from as well. So yeah, maybe not the purpley ones, but lots of other colors if you want to see them on very fair skin. So this is a really good concealer, by the way. This is, again, the L'Oreal True Match Radiant Serum Concealer. Everything seems to be a serum right now. 1.5% hyaluronic acid and caffeine. And I have this in the shade 0.5D, which I believe is the lightest shade. I don't think the coverage is like phenomenal, but as I'm having kind of a natural day, it's a very natural looking concealer. I actually really like this for days where I only want to wear concealer and nothing else. If I'm in a rush or I just want to have kind of a minimal makeup day, it's really, really good for that. So that one is the True Match concealer. It doesn't get that much hype really. I feel like everyone loves the foundation and then the concealer isn't as loved. If you can hear a bell, it's because Pearl is in her little cat bed next to me, and I think she's just sort of like resettling. She's probably like, how dare you come in and disturb my sleep? Okay, so I'm going to let that concealer set for a little while under my eyes. Let's have a look at some of the other products I've managed to get on Vinted. So this one I was so excited about because I've been looking for this, like a second one of these, for so long because I got it many, many years ago when it was released, and it's just really difficult to find because it was limited edition. So this is the MAC Cyndi Lauper Luster Lipstick. It was a Viva Glam lipstick, which means that all the proceeds went to charity, any profits. So it had like the red label in the middle, and like this came in the box, like it was brand new. Someone obviously bought it and never used it, or maybe was a makeup artist. So that is what it looks like. The color is a really beautiful sort of easy to wear red, I would say, like with a slight pink undertone. So I'm actually going to keep that like in the box for now because I already have one of these, but I wasn't using it because it was so rare and special, and I didn't think I'd be able to get another one again. So that's the MAC Viva Glam Cyndi Lauper lipstick. If you want me to swatch it, let me just get my other one. I'll be able to find it in here. It's probably somewhere at the back because I don't use it very much. This is what happens when you have too many MAC lipsticks. Hang on. I have it. So yeah, here is my original one. So let me swatch this for you. Yeah, this has kind of seen better days. It's gone a bit weird and frosty on the outside. I don't think it's necessarily gone bad. It smells fine, but yeah, it's this kind of pinky red. It's really, really nice. It's showing a little bit warmer on camera. It's an absolutely stunning shade. I love that lipstick. The one I've purchased looks like it's in better condition, so that's another reason I'm really glad to have it. Okay, so what else did I get? So something that was slightly less successful is I didn't read the description very well, and this was a blush that I was looking for a long time, but it's fake. There's a spelling mistake in it, and the sticker is slightly different. Like it's like too bright, And also, like if I compare it to a real MAC one, so this is the real one, this was the fake one. The lettering is ever so slightly thicker. Like it's a really good fake. Like look at it. But the fact that there's a spelling mistake on the back and the sticker isn't centered, it's fucking fake as fuck. So it's my fault. I should have looked at the images more carefully, but I kind of just went, oh my God, yeah, I was looking for that, and then clicked buy. Now I don't think it's a bad color, but it's certainly not what I was looking for because it's not the real one. I got caught with this, and I would imagine they're probably from the same fucking factory with what's it called? It was Prism. Yeah. Actually, the lettering on the Prism one is even thicker than on this one. So you can see again, like these are two fakes. And oh, the sticker on this one has even brighter, thicker lettering than on this one, but they're both still fake, which is such a shame. I mean, is there a tiny chance they could just be defected? I don't think so. Not with a spelling mistake on Pink Swoon as well. Like, it's Pinex Swoon. Definitely got caught with that one, but look, you win some, you lose some, and I should have just been more careful. Is it a pretty blush color? Yes, but I have other pink blushes that are, you know, not fake. One I was really delighted to get though, and that is not fake, is this blush in the shade Margin, which is a frost finish, and it's a really beautiful color. I wasn't sure if this kind of color would suit me, but it actually looks a lot like Warm Soul. So this is Margin, and look at that gorgeous sheen, and like kind of sparkly glowy blushes are so fashionable right now, but MAC was doing this 20 odd years ago. Like they are the OG. So I might wear that today depending on what I put on my eyes, because that's a really beautiful color. Right, all the different singles I got. So this is a lot I got a few months ago, and again I just got like a job lot. One of the colors is Sable, which is this sparkly brown. This is one of my favorite colors, and I've hit pan like quite badly on my original Sable, so I did need a replacement. So that was one that I got in like this job lot. The next one was Satin Taupe, again, a shade that I've panned. It's quite similar to Sable in depth, but it's got more of that sort of silvery brown kind of gray tone. This does look quite brown on me though. I know it pulls silver on some people. Again, another one I need to replace because I've nearly hit pan. Well, I have hit pan. I've nearly run out of mine. This is Patina, which is a really difficult color to get because it's been discontinued for fucking ages. And again, I have one, but I've been afraid to use it because I don't want to run out of it. So that's Patina. This is actually one of Samantha Chapman's absolute favorite eyeshadows. She said that she used to wear this every day pretty much when she was working in MAC with some like black tide and maybe a little bit of like smolder or feline eye kohl, just to create this incredible but very, very simple look. I absolutely adore Patina, so I was so glad to get a second one because, as we know, eyeshadows don't last forever. Now this one is called Soft Brown, and for a long time I think this was only available in America. I think you can get it here now, but again, it was part of the bundle and I do quite like the color. I have a feeling I already have one of these, but it was just part of the deal, so having a spare is always a nice idea. It's a really good transition shade. Oh, remember when we used to use transition shades? Oh, thank you very much. So I'm sorry you missed me putting that on. Actually, I put that on earlier. It's the Max Factor Miracle Pure Skin Reset 2-in-1 Serum Foundation. It's very, very light coverage. I have it in the lightest shade, which is 00 to 10, very fair. And it does really give like a nice hydrated glow. But not a lot of coverage. Like you can see all my freckles, you can see my sunspot, and I do have a bit of concealer under my eyes. Thank you for asking. Here is another classic MAC shade and one of my favorites. This is Blackberry, and it's just this kind of grayish matte purple. Not the easiest color to work with, but I have such good memories of using this, particularly with things like yogurt and Quarry. Blackberry was like the next step up in terms of depth after Quarry. So I really liked using that in the crease of my eyes. So that's a really beautiful color as well. And again, I'm glad to have a spare because I actually cracked my original, so I'm glad I have it. Okay, then I have Yogurt. Yogurt was one of my first ever MAC shadows. Again, I don't think this is available anymore. It's just a very incredibly pale, sort of almost bone colored pink. I don't even, yeah, that doesn't even show up on my hand really. So because of my eyes being sort of green in tone, it was the best color for me to have like as an all over lid color. as opposed to some people might have gone for something like vanilla, which I do own as well, but I just kind of had to get another one because again, I'm running low on mine and it was my first ever MAC eyeshadow along with Quarry. I got those as a pair to wear together. Now this one was a new one to me. This is Orb and this is a satin finish. I don't know if this is still available. I have a feeling that it's not. I'll try and do a swatch, but I don't know if it's going to show up on my skin. So not really. It's pretty much next to patina there, but you can't really see it. It's slightly warmer than my skin tone. You can see a slight yellowishness, but not really. So that was another one that was in the bundle that I wanted to try. Then we've also got, I think again, it might have been one only available in America. This was Swiss Chocolate, like a deeper like step up from what was the other one called? Soft Brown. So they work really well together. Again, another nice one to have in my collection. And then finally, this is the reason that I bought the bundle. Kid eyeshadow is the best blending or transition shade ever. It's so incredible. And mine is running out. Again, I accidentally cracked it when there was like just an accident basically when I dropped my old MAC palette. So I've got all of those. I'm not planning to depot anything at the moment. So if I show you what I already have, we'll just take a break from looking at single shadows. I bought this palette on Amazon and it's got 4 different levels. So the first level here, I've got all of my sort of MAC neutral shades and you can see I've hit pan on like quite a few of them, like Wedge and what's that one called again? Oh, Solar White. Solar White. Again, I have a spare one of these because I like it so much. There's huge indentations. There's a couple of Makeup Geek shadows in here as well. Like that's a Makeup Geek shadow and I think that one is as well, but most of them are MAC. I have written out all of the names, so I do have like a little page with all of them written out so that I can't forget anything. So that's like my top layer. My next layer is all of my sort of colored MAC eyeshadows. As you can see, I kind of have a bit of a penchant for purple. The one that kind of stands out here is probably like Mythology, because it's kind of got that very warm, bright tone. I think I've got like Glamour Check in here. There's Antiqued, Cranberry, like so many classic MAC shades. You can see Humid stands out quite a lot as well. Sumptuous Olive. That's my original patina up there. So I wouldn't call it a green shade, but it definitely kind of leans that way slightly. Club, again, another absolute classic. I think they still make that, but a huge number of these shadows are no longer available and discontinued. So I do kind of to guard them to some extent. And then the ones I have here are probably my most used MAC shadows. Oh, a couple of my P. Louise ones have slid down. Slid. Ah, there's Omega. I was looking for that earlier and I couldn't find it. Okay, so Omega is an incredible eyeshadow color for blondes. So if you want to fill in your eyeshadows with powder for the most natural look, I would say Omega is the best color to get. Then what else do we have in here? I believe these are 2 Makeup Geek shadows as well. You can no longer get those. I got those as again like a bundle from Vinted. Then we've got like Mulch. There's my Satin Taupe and my Sable that are running out. So I can tell you, I can show you I was telling the truth. That's Glamour Check, I want to say. Or possibly Antiqued. They look so similar. This is Twinks. I got another one of these recently. That's Vanilla. That one is Blanc Type, so I could really do with replacing both of those. Orb might be a good replacement, although it's slightly darker. This is my Pour Original Kid, which is almost gone. I don't know if you can see there, but most of that color has disappeared in a fall. This is handwritten and probably the best dark brown MAC has ever made because it was in the matte squared formula. That was the best MAC eyeshadow formula they ever made. Blanc Type was also that formula, so it was matte, it was incredibly pigmented, but it was easy to blend. Much better than their original mattes, I would say. These are all P. Louise shadows that I got in a palette from a friend for my birthday a couple of years ago. These look like they've just slid down. You can see the magnets behind them. I haven't played around with these that much. A lot of the tones are incredibly warm, which I don't mind, but I would say I kind of have everything that I need in the MAC shadows, and a lot of these are so similar. I'm not sure you'd actually see much difference on the eyes, but I really like having them because I have such an array of warm neutrals now. So that is my sort of MAC or my big eyeshadow palette of all my singles that I have collected over the last 16, 17 years. I feel a bit outed now. There's a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of love that's gone into that palette. I can never get eyeshadow to look good on me. Just keep it simple. Pick one really beautiful shimmery shade and just use that. Something that isn't super, super dark or super, super light, so that if you are blending it in, it won't take you very long. And shimmery shades, again, blend so much easier. If you get a fluffy brush, so something like this one, please ignore now the fact that mine's dirty. The brush will do all of the work for you. Just keep going back and forth very lightly, very gently, almost like you're barely touching your eye, and it will look beautiful. I would recommend something like Satin Taupe. Again, I know that's still available from MAC. If you wanted one beautiful eyeshadow that you can wear all the time, Sable is another really good one. Okay, so looking at my most recent sort of bundle of eyeshadows that I've got, can you tell I have a problem? Yes. Okay, again, I'm not paying very much for any of these things. I'm certainly not a millionaire. But there's so many people just getting rid of their collections for whatever reason. I guess I need to thank minimalism because it's doing me well. So I'm going to start with the first one. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eyeshadows for £8 on Vinted. I feel like I'm giving everyone my secrets now, but I don't mind. I like helping people. This one is called Saucy Miss. I will probably never use this shadow. Number one, because I already have something similar but a little bit darker in my what are they called, Cosmic Brushes Gothic palette, because I have a huge beautiful purple palette, and also it's just, yeah, I don't think this color is going to really do anything for me. I don't wear a lot of brights. It says it's matte, but I can see a couple of sparkles in it, but I don't know if that's just from someone using their own brush and maybe there's some debris left on the brush, but that's probably never going to be used by me. The color that I was probably most excited about, again, is a discontinued color called White Frost. This is no longer available. If you can see, there is actually a huge dent in it that person has hit pan on the eyeshadow. I will swatch it for you. I'm a little bit disappointed that so much of it is used, but I mean, it's secondhand. I can't really complain. So that's a really, really lovely, sparkly, metallic white eyeshadow that even shows up on skin as pale as mine. So if you know me well and you've possibly seen some of my other videos, I have got this The Balm Nude Tude palette, and I've only kept this over the years for this one incredible white sparkly eyeshadow. And as you can see, there's a huge dent in it. I'm gonna run out of it soon and I need a replacement. So that was my plan for White Frost from MAC, to try and get that. Another one I'm trying to get my hands on that was discontinued is called Crystal Avalanche, because I believe that's a similar shade. So yeah, White Frost, I'm really happy with that one. It's a bit of a shame that so much of it has been used up, but it's a really beautiful color and I'm glad to have it in my collection. After that, I have a duplicate Stars and Rockets that's barely been touched. I might pass that on to a friend or something. This looks incredible over black. Really, really cool. It gives this sort of duochrome effect. You really get the like blue pink sort of reflex, and it's like a kind of a more interesting way of wearing a smoky eye or a black eyeshadow look. Then another one I really wasn't too excited about was Swish. For MAC, this is one of the most horrible pinks that they've ever made, but it's kind of hilarious to have it because I know how like unpleasant it is. So I've just swatched it sort of above White Frost. It doesn't look that bad actually, but I remember people saying what a horrible color that was. Hi, thanks for joining me from Shankill. But yeah, this did not have good reviews. So I don't know if I'm going to put that on my eyes. It might just make me look a bit sick, but it's kind of funny to have like such a polarizing eyeshadow in my collection. The next one then that I've got is Tracks. I really wanted to get this one again because it's discontinued and it's an incredible shade. So there is an eyeliner from, yeah, I've picked out the right one. Woo! There's an eyeliner from Urban Decay called 1999 that is the exact same shade as Tracks. And basically what I used to do is I used to put on 1999 first, like this, as a base. And then I would put Tracks over it, and it made all of the copper sparkles in Tracks really, really pop. It was such an incredible way to wear it. Yeah, it's literally doing it now on my hand. I think you can barely see that. If you can't, it's my camera quality. It's not the eyeshadows, I promise. But such a fucking cool combination. It just brings back like really positive memories for me, like all these old eyeshadows and things that I used to do back when I used to go out, you know, all the time and stuff. So the next one is an extra dimension eyeshadow in the shade Stylishly Merry. So this was probably part of some sort of Christmas collection. And this looks like a really nice purple. I'm kind of running out of room to swatch here. So it's there. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Star Violet, which is again another discontinued shade. I've never actually had any of the extra dimension eyeshadows. I've used the skin finishes, obviously. They're like one of my favorite things. But that looks really lovely, actually. I might try that out today. It looks like it's going to blend quite well as well. So I said I wasn't going to wear purple, but I might be going back on that statement. And then the very last one, this one I was quite excited about as well because it looks really similar to Vellum, which is a pro only eyeshadow from MAC, which is a reflex, sort of an incredibly light violet that reflects. So this one is called Ready to Party. I have to be really careful showing you this because, yay! Yeah, that was such a major bummer and it fell out when I opened it and I was really, really sad. So I'm just going to swatch it for you on whatever is left in terms of space on my hand. It's basically a dupe for Vellum. Slightly different reflect maybe, but almost the same. I don't think you'd actually be able to tell the difference like on your eyes once it's on there. So I'm really glad to have both. Like this is a kind of a spare. I'm tempted to glue it back into the pan, but I don't know like how well that's gonna go. No, my name has nothing to do with Palestine. It's the palest advice. All right, so I think that is pretty much everything. It seems like one giant mega haul, but it's actually not. This is stuff I've gathered over like months. So I'm gonna start the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna use this color actually. I'm gonna use Stylishly Merry. That looks really beautiful. So I'm gonna take that on a Real Techniques brush, I think, this one. So this is just the Real Techniques eyeshadow brush, shading brush, I should say. And again, I'm not really sure how this is going to look on my eyes, but I feel like I might have a new favorite finish with these extra dimension eyeshadows. I believe they still sell them. So I know there was a couple I wanted to get, like Rich Core is a really nice color. Palest means lightest in skin. I'm starting to think I might need to change my YouTube name so that I don't confuse people. A friend of mine did say that people might get it mixed up with Palestine. So if anyone has any suggestions, you can let me know. So obviously I don't want to confuse anybody or cause any trouble. This is absolutely the furthest thing from a politics channel that could possibly exist. This is just me talking about old and discontinued makeup that I love and collect. Okay, so that's quite pretty, but it's gone on more pink than purple. So I feel like we might need to deepen this up a bit with something else. So let me find, this is Blackberry that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on the outside of my eye. I'm not even going to switch brushes. I'm just going to switch to the other side of the brush and see if I can build in some depth. Yeah, that looks better already on the outer corner of the eye. Yeah, that's starting to look more purple already. So this is a traditional MAC matte shadow, so they do have quite a bit of fallout. They are not the easiest to blend. MAC hasn't changed their eyeshadow formula in the longest time because they used to be the brand, like they were the dog's bollocks. They had more shades than anyone else. They had better formulas than anyone else, but they haven't really like moved with the times. And I think that's why they're not where they used to be. They're still like obviously a successful brand, especially like within the Estee Lauder family, but it used to be the brand. Other brands were copying MAC, not the other way around, which seems to be the way it is today. They kind of didn't get on the social media wagon soon enough. I think that was part of it. And they didn't move with the times. They also kind of got really obsessed with limited edition collections. Like there was collection after collection after collection. Like there was several collections a month at one point, and I think people just couldn't really keep up. And when things are limited edition, you do feel the pressure to buy them. And I think that kind of got too much for people. Right, so to blend out that shade, I'm gonna go back into my very large MAC palette and I'm gonna use Quarry, which is this one here. And I'm gonna take that on a larger, fluffier brush because I don't want it to be distributed too thickly. How would I say that? How would I rephrase that? I want it to be sparse across my eye because it's really just to blend out the edges and help that to naturally blend in with the kind of shadowy part of my eye right under the orbital bone. I'm really not doing a great job of explaining today. This is kind of just why I do lives though, because if it goes wrong, I feel like, well, it was live and it doesn't really require any editing. So this is much easier than sitting down, filming for however long and then still not having the right footage that I need to make some sort of in-depth tutorial or get ready with me or whatever. This just allows me to be me, to talk about all of the silly things that I enjoy, like discontinued old Mac products. I like Catrice, I like Essence. I do like the kind of middle of the range brands as well. So stuff like L'Oreal I've already used today. I've used Max Factor. Oh, I have a fucking bone to pick with L'Oreal, actually. Their Blurfection powders are still not available in the UK. Why is that? Can anyone tell me? Like, I am dying to try those powders. And I've seen people from the UK and Ireland reviewing these, but we can't get them here. So I don't really want to have to go on to fucking US Amazon and buy it on there. Like, it's not even on the UK Amazon yet. Are we going to get these powders? Like, they seem to have been out for a while. I'm absolutely dying to try them. They look absolutely incredible. They're everyone's new favorite, and I can't get it because I do feel like powder is one of the areas where the drugstore is lacking. Apart from my Catrice under eye brightener, like the only other powder I'll use is Laura Mercier, and even that I don't feel is as good. I don't know, I don't like it as much as I used to. So I'm very much in the market for a new setting powder. And I mean, come on, let's be fair, Blurfection sounds great. Right, I think I'm probably going to leave the eyeshadow there for now. Might come back to it. And I will whack on a little bit of eyeliner. So I'm going to use a black today rather than a brown because I feel like that's more appropriate with the purple look. And I'm just going to draw, well, I say a thin line. I always aim to draw a thin line of liquid liner on my waterline. And this one is just the Catrice ink eyeliner. It's waterproof. And this stays on really, really well. If you're not brilliant with eyeliner, just keep it simple. Keep the line as thin as you can and as close to the eyelashes. Aim to hit the top of your eyelashes and just practice, practice, practice. I was not good at eyeliner. It took me a long time. I've been wearing liquid eyeliner now for 20 years. So it's been some time. And there's been days when it's been good and there's been days when it's been bad. And some of those days were quite recently when they were bad. So depends on how steady your hand is, etc. If you find it difficult to get a straight line, you feel like your hand isn't steady, you can put your elbow like on a desk or like just something flat to keep it more steady. You probably don't want to do what I'm doing, which is holding the mirror in my hand. But look, I think I'm just trying to talk and do this quickly so that it gets done. I've already been filming for quite some time and I don't actually have that much makeup on my face because I was mainly just showing you guys stuff. I always say I'm not going to do a big wing, so I'm just going to try and stick to that. Even a hint of a wing can be good because again it extends my eye shape and makes my eyes look bigger than they actually are. I don't have very large eyes. Again, on the not very large eye front, I am going to put some white eyeliner into my waterline. If you have watched me before, you know that what eyeliner this is. This is MAC Fascinating Eye Kohl. For some reason, the newer one that I have isn't as white as the old one. Or maybe I just need to get further into the pencil. That's not bad now, to be fair. I don't know why I feel like I had to take a pause there. I think sometimes when you're dealing with your bottom waterline, you just need a second to like concentrate on what you're doing. It's the same when I'm doing bottom lash mascara. I find I can't really talk. Right, so back to the skin. The skin looks pretty, I would say. Again, it's this Max Factor serum foundation. Again, more of a skin tint in my opinion. But because I've been sort of pawing at my face now to get my eyeshadow done, it has worn off in a few places. So definitely not the most long-lasting product. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a beauty sponge and I am going to dampen that with some setting spray. I'm just looking for a particular setting spray now and I can't see it for some reason. Fuck it, we'll use this one. Urban Decay, not the one I was looking for, but I'm just going to put 2 spritzes of that onto the flat end of this sponge. And then I'm going to put a little bit more of the foundation onto this beauty sponge. Not too much, like 2 to 3 drops. And I'm just going to press that into the skin where I feel like I need slightly more coverage because I've been, you know, a face toucher, essentially. So where I've been, you know, maneuvering around my eyes to put my eyeshadow on, and even my chin, you know, I've accidentally been touching my face. I am always touching my face by accident. I'm just going to press it into the skin with, you know, pretty good force there, like a bit firm, you know, got to be firm with it. And the more you press something in, the more it's going to stay put. So that's that done. I didn't set my under eyes earlier, but I'm going to do that now. Before I do that, it's really bothering me having all these weird swatches on my hand, and I feel like I'm going to accidentally rub half of it onto my jeans or something. So I'm going to take some of this micellar water and I'm going to throw that onto this cotton round, and I'm just going to run that over my hand. I don't even know why I'm explaining this. I'm sure you know how to use a cotton round to wipe something off the back of your hand, but I guess I'm just in tutorial mode. Okay, so that's gone there now. And I actually have clean hands. I'm going to rub my fingers on it as well. I feel like they're a bit greasy or something. So, oh, I just heard somebody's bin fall over in the rain. Hello. Wind and rain today is off the scale. Okay. Oh my god, I totally forgot about this. The Essence All About Soft Glow Fixing Compact Powder. Oh, I used this in my last full-length video. Will I ever go back to full-length videos? Who knows? Oh, hi, Mark. But, ooh, there was a bit of a cloud there. So I'm just going to put some of this on my under eyes using Real Techniques. What is this? A medium shadow brush is what I think that used to say. I totally forgot I had this. How did I do that? I feel a bit guilty now because it's actually really nice. I didn't use it to set my under eyes last time, so it'll be interesting to see how that works. I only used the Catrice one, and then I used this in place of basically the Hourglass powders. Do I think it's identical to the Hourglass powders? No. Is it a good dupe? Then yes. Hello. Who's this? Mafiosa. Hi, Mafiosa. How you doing? All right. So there I go. Getting a bit powdery. Powder the nose. Powder the forehead so we don't look too greasy. There we go. Maybe a bit in the old chin. Okay, so that's that done. I might return to that later. Right, what shall we do next? What should we do with the Drunken Sailor? Let's use this new blush because, oh, I don't know actually if that's going to go. Hang on. Maybe not. Okay, so we can't use margin today. I did not think this through, but we can use something else. Let's use this one that I showed in my last live. This is Love Rock, which is from like 2010 or maybe 2009 even. Like, look how incredible that is. Why is no one making shit like this anymore? Come on. Someone has a dumb question. Go for it. I don't know. You'd probably have to ask men that wear makeup. And also it depends on which men you're asking, because obviously men use makeup for lots of the same purposes as women, but also lots of different purposes like drag and stuff like that. So you'd probably have to ask a man. I would imagine lots of them use the same makeup. But there are brands now that are targeted towards men and male grooming, male makeup. I've seen a lot of like male skincare sets this year. Like Clinique are doing male grooming sets and everything has to be like a dark color, and fucking hell, I've put way too much of that on. Never mind, we can fix this. Right, how to fix your blusher when you've decided to make yourself look like a clown. So I had that sponge. Let's go back and see what we can salvage. So I'm just going to dab that where I think I've put on too much. Every day is a school day. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know many men that do wear makeup, or if they do, they're hiding it brilliantly. So you might need to ask some of them. I do remember going home with someone once in my youth and finding Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse in his stuff, you know, like in his little bathroom set. That was funny. Sometimes I wonder if it's all brandy. Yeah, 100%. I actually buy men's razors to like shave under my arms and stuff because they work better and they're cheaper. So come on, like why would you buy women's razors? It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, I was wondering why my face still looks really weird, and it's because I don't have any mascara on. So lots of people have kind of like strong feelings about people using eyelash curlers on camera and like not wanting to see that. So I did kind of want to freak everybody out, but now I can't find my Shiseido eyelash curlers. How annoying. Aww, I wanted to upset everybody. Okay, never mind. I know what'll happen. I'll find them straight away, like once this video finishes. So instead of using the lash curler, I'm just going to go straight in with the Essence Lash Princess. This is the Sculpted Volume Edition. I know lots of people use the green one. I like that one too, but let's go for it. It kind of feels like I still have product on my eyelashes, even though I don't. They're feeling a bit sticky. So when I'm applying mascara, I tend to, as you can see, tilt my head back, and that prevents me from accidentally smearing the mascara wand against my eyeshadow, or at least it does in most cases. I've actually seen people get like a credit card and put the credit card like there and then they swipe up. I guess that works too. I just tilt my head back. I think there was a really, really bad song from Nelly called Tilt Your Head Back. And unfortunately, I've just reminded myself of that. I think it was with Christina Aguilera. I think that's why I know it. It was not good. There are some things from 2010 that don't need to be relived, and that song is one of them. Okay, so they're looking a little bit spiky, but they're okay. Let's go for some blending on the bottom lash line before I put any mascara on there. And it's just these little tiny tricks that kind of make your makeup look a little bit more cohesive. Like, can you see the difference there? It just sort of brings the whole thing together. I haven't actually done an inner corner highlight, so maybe we could either use White Frost that I showed you earlier, or we could use the extra dimension one called Ready to Party, which is falling out. So let's use this one actually that's falling out because it's funny. I am going to I have a really tiny brush for this specific job, if I can find it. Oh, I've just found a random eyebrow brush that I was looking for in a different section. Oh, and I've also found my eyelash curlers. Fucking fantastic. Okay. And of course, I can't find the brush that I was actually looking for. Oh, wait, no, here we go. This is a very old Sigma brush that is a copy of a MAC brush. So it's supposed to be, I think, like the E20 or something. Right, so we're going in with this gorgeous reflective purple color, kind of a lilac sort of a shade. I'm interested to see how this looks now, especially like on a brush. Ooh, oh, ah, ee. Yeah, that's nice. It's not as bright as I thought it was going to be, and it's more purple than kind of light than Vellum actually. Because I was comparing it to Vellum earlier, if anyone actually remembers and is still watching. This is much more purple than Vellum. Vellum's more of a white with a purple reflect, but I actually really like that. Kind of a nice transition into the eyeshadow, and again, just making my eyes look further apart. So anybody with close set eyes like me, that's a nice trick. Use a really light color on the inside, just right around your tear ducts, and it just sets your eyes a little bit further apart. Theme song of the stream. God damn it. I do have it stuck in my head now. That's very annoying. Right, so let's go back to whatever I was doing on my cheeks. This has been the most random order ever. I feel like I took slightly too much off here, so we just, fake it till we make it and put a bit back on. Or rub off the foundation that I just put over it. It's all a magical mist. Okay, I feel like I'm looking a bit... Do we need a bit of chiseling? Am I a bit puffy, perhaps? Okay, so to do that, actually, I'm going to use this thing. This is the e.l.f. bronzer and contour in the lightest shade, which is just called Fair. I have demoed this before, and I've done a whole video on like contouring for pale skin. So I'm going to put some of that out on the back of my hand. And then what I like to do is I like to spray a little bit of setting spray. This is the Milk one, but you can use fucking anything. I can't find my e.l.f. one. That's so annoying because I tend to use that for all these sort of like mini jobs. And then I'm just buffing it into a brush, like, so it's kind of getting buffed into the brush itself, like right into the bristles. This one's a fucking nightmare to clean afterwards. And this is the Deluxe Crease Brush. I would never use something this fucking huge in my crease. And I'm going to pop that along here and along here to make it look like I have defined cheekbones. Then for the jaw, yes, we're going to pretend my face is a little bit slimmer than it really is. There and there. And that I'm not nearly 35 and I have this, you know, snatched jawline. Ooh, you can see it there. This is the fatter side of my face. So I always have to put a little bit more on here. And it's weird because like there's always one side of your face that's like bigger and that your eye is bigger, your nostrils bigger, whatever. And it's fucking annoying and no one else would notice it, only yourself. Oh, look at my baldness. Hello. Let's just stipple some hair on in there as well. Yeah, so you always have like these features that you notice about yourself that no one else would ever fucking see. I'm not even convinced my husband knows what color my eyes are. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people just don't look at each other in that much detail, or at least men don't look at, you know, other people in that much detail, particularly boyfriends. They don't really know what we look like. That was a weird place to stop, wasn't it? Okay, so now that I've applied it with that brush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend it in with a larger brush. Ta-da! And again, I'm going to dampen this. Where is that fucking setting spray? That's so annoying. And again, I'll find it right after this video finishes. So I'll use a little bit of the Milk one. Don't really like using expensive setting spray for this job, but oh hey ho. And then we'll blend in to make my contouring on my 5 head a little bit less obvious. 5 head is always a feature of my live streams. Give this video a like if you also have a 5 head life. And again, this just softens the whole thing and makes it slightly less obvious that I have contoured the fuck out of my face. You don't want to bring it too far in either, just because it won't look as natural. And I think we're about ready to go back to that essence powder, and I'm just going to throw that down the center of my face so I don't look too shiny. I don't know what brush to use for this actually. I might just use this massive bronzer brush, and we'll see what this looks like as kind of an all over T-zone setting powder. Yes, I do, Mark. There's something, this powder is definitely doing something because it's not mattifying, but I feel more secure in my makeup now that it's on. Okay, so that's that. I still haven't done my bottom lash mascara, and I have a second mascara for my bottom lashes because I'm just extra. This is the e.l.f. Lash Extender, which is a really good dupe for the MAC Giga Black Lash. It's practically the same thing, even has the same color lid. So when I'm traveling, I always bring this one, and my MAC Giga Black Lash I kind of use every other time, or just so I don't run out of it as quickly. Although again, that is something that you can pick up on Vinted quite cheaply. Oh, I love this. This is so nice. I haven't worn a purple eyeshadow look in ages, especially not one as girly as this actually. This is very girly altogether. It is definitely art for your face, and like this, mine isn't even as extensive as a lot of people's. Like, I think Instagram culture has kind of taken over, and like makeup has become a fucking process and a half. Like, so mine is not as complicated as anybody else's, I would say, or a lot of the people on here. So a lot of the people on here would be like carving out their eyebrows as well. They'll put gel in their eyebrows. They will set their liquid contour with a powder contour. They will have a liquid and a powder highlighter and a liquid and a powder blush, and it's all just like fucking piling shit on top of shit on top of shit. There'll be like color correctors, different concealers for different parts of the face, layering of concealers, and like, you know, when does it all stop? Because a lot of it is just fucking consumerism at its best. She says this after showing you like 20 different items that she bought, maybe more. I do realize the irony of that. But look, I'm more of a collector than, you know, a face builder, I would say. You wear moisturizers sometimes. You're doing the right thing for your skin. Absolutely. You know? I don't think I started regularly moisturizing until I was like late 20s at the earliest, I would say. And like, I know people that started that are my age that started in school, but I think half of, well, more than half of it, I would say like 90% of it is just fucking genetics, and 10% of it is external factors like moisturizing and lifestyle and, you know, hydration and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's usually genetics. So when people come on and say that, like, oh, my grandmother is 80 and she only uses Pond's cold cream or whatever, and she has no wrinkles, that's genetic. That is not the Pond's cold cream saving your granny's face, you know? Right, so I think I'm almost done. I do need to put a lipstick on. Water is underrated, but when it's fucking cold, water is the last thing that I want to drink. So I drink a shitload of tea through the winter. I try to make some of it herbal tea. And I believe tea still counts towards your like hydration goal for the day. I'm always fucking peeing after it anyway, so it's doing something. Right, lipstick. I don't want to go full purple. So maybe we'll go for something kind of neutral. I have a lipstick here called Thanks It's Mac from I wonder what brand. So I'm going to throw this on. This isn't my favorite texture. It's the new luster glass, but it's almost like there's bits in it, but I really like the color. It's quite similar to the old Modesty, which obviously you can't get anymore now because everything's been fucking reformulated. Oh, Mac, why you do this to me? Right, I need to stop talking while applying lipstick. That's just stupid. I think what happened is my coffee kicked in, and it's always kind of reassuring as well when you have someone on the stream that you know kind of like supports you and stuff. So that's been nice too. Cheers, Mark. I did have some lovely comments earlier, like you're definitely a man. I had another one the other day about have you tried their new range of balaclavas? So yeah, people are funny. There was another guy that came on that just wanted to talk about how big his biceps were, you know. So you do get some interesting characters. Oh, oh, the internet. But hey, I'm the one putting myself out here. I get it, you know. Right, maybe if I hydrate more, and I won't look as tired or old. But you know, I am nearly 35, so shit's happening to my skin, you know. Right, hair doesn't look too bad. It's still half damp from the bath, but actually it looks pretty okay. It's not fluffy because I haven't been outside yet, but I'm sure as soon as I set foot outside, it will just go poof. Very much like Monica in Friends when they go to, is it Barbados or somewhere like that? So I have no idea if his biceps were huge. They could have been. Who knows? But certainly bragging about it didn't really inspire me. Right, setting spray, milk. Ah. I'm not a huge fan of their products, but I do like the setting spray. Do I think it's worth 20 odd quid? Like, probably not. As you know, I'm a bit of a cheapskate if I think I can like get away with a product being cheaper. There is still a cat down here in her little cat bed, but she has not made a move to join us, so I won't disturb her. I'm just going to start putting all of my stuff back now, because if I feel like if I don't put things back now, I'm just going to walk away and leave them after the live stream. And maybe we should just get it to an hour. Maybe it should just like get there. So if you missed the start of the video, I got some new brushes, MAC brushes, and again, I got these in vintage. Technically they're secondhand, but they came like brand new in the packaging. Barbados, probably. So yeah, I got some really cool brushes that I tried out earlier, like for my eyebrows and stuff. What else? I went through all the new eyeshadows I had purchased. Again, like lots of classics. I forgot to use this for my blush. No. We should try it with the foundation, or maybe we shouldn't. I'm also kind of afraid it might wreck the bristles. Although it is natural fibers, so it should be okay, but I don't know. If people are still interested in that old phenomenon of using a blush brush for a foundation brush, we could try it. Oh, all my brushes don't fit in my containers now. Never mind. There's probably a few I need to get rid of. There's probably a lot I need to get rid of that I don't really use anymore, but you know, nostalgia. I'm very much someone that can't let go of things, if you haven't noticed. Oh, I forgot to use this as well, but I don't really think I need it. This is the Catrice glass-like highlighter stick, but I think that Love Rock blush is doing such a good job on its own that it doesn't really need a highlighter. It's kind of got a highlighter built in. And my other favorite product that I didn't really use was the Margin blush, because it's a frost shade. So I'll try that when I wear a more neutral or a warm eyeshadow look. And again, I got that Viva Glam Cindy lipstick, like brand new in packaging, in box. That was so exciting as a collector to have a spare one. Yeah, so I'm just sort of chucking stuff in now. I did like a declutter video not that long ago, and I feel like there's another one coming because I've just bought so much stuff because I love stuff. But I'm not paying very much for all these things. I'm paying like well under half of the retail price, like 7 eyeshadows for £8. That's, you know, pretty good going because people are clearing out all their stuff. But I could probably make another eyeshadow palette out of all of the new MAC eyeshadows I've got here. So that's kind of embarrassing. I mean, is consumerism gone wild? I don't know, but like, I would rather spend my money on stuff like this that I'll have and that I'll use for a long time than going out and getting trashed. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still go out and get trashed sometimes. But oh my god, a shrine is a wonderful idea. I like a MAC 2010 shrine or something from their like best era. That's a marvelous idea. Thanks for that, Mark. Right, so I'm about done and we have just hit 1 hour. So thank you to anybody who has watched this. I think it peaked at like 11 viewers, but I'm often surprised at how many people watch this after the fact, which is quite cool actually. I love watching lives and just having somebody on in the background and it kind of feels like we're having a conversation. I especially love watching videos like this of people putting their makeup on while I'm putting my own makeup on. It feels like we're getting ready together. So thank you very much for joining me and I will see you in the next live.